Things happen to people differently, and it's okay. It's okay.
Hashtag facts.
Yes.
Yes. Sharing our stories, our experiences.
We are able to air our views.
And we are not editing anything. We really want to speak to
The girls.
To the girls.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chinyambuyu Chat 2 of the Western Africa Summit. Our conversation today is titled Making Magic. Allies share their innovations towards ending period poverty. Today, I am joined by girl allies, technical experts in their own fields in SRHR and girl advocacy. So I'll invite them to introduce themselves. We can start from here.
Oh, thank you, Waridi. This is Nancy Akeyo from The Confidence Queen. I'm the founder of The Confidence Queen. The Confidence Queen is designed to empower girls, and our focus area is SRH, MHM, and also empowerment on life skill. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm happy to be here today.
Karibu Nancy, what can you tell us? What do you love most about African girls and young women?
Wow. African girls and young women, what I can celebrate about them are about their passion and also creativity. It's remarkable because they're doing a lot towards girl child. Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy. Over to you, Tabitha. Your name, your organization, and what you love about African girls.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Tabitha Ndishu. I am the founder of My Red is Beautiful, an initiative for women by a woman who is me, to create awareness around the fibroids condition, and to provide a holistic support group that helps with providing encouragement, helping you feel like you're not alone, and at the same time holding your hand to ensure that you're able to beat fibroids and become a fibroid warrior. So that's our intent with the initiative.
What do you love about African girls and young women?
That means me, huh?
Yeah.
So let's start with the young girls. I think I'm very excited and happy with their curiosity. So African girls are very curious. I love that about them. They will always want to ask questions when they're teenagers and little girls. How is this done? What does this feel like? And that curiosity is very important because it helps them make decisions that are informed, for starters, and it empowers the way they think, and yeah, that is what I really love about African girls. Yeah.
Thank you, Tabitha. And as we're speaking about African girls, our Western Africa Summit is for adolescent girls. And now I want to ask you, since we are doing this for them, that our audience, is what do you know now about menstrual hygiene or periods that you would have wanted to know when you were an adolescent girl yourself?
Wow. That is the younger me?
Yes.
Yes. Now, I would say that what I didn't know then is about tracking my period. It was a nightmare because you just feel like you don't know when your period will come, and you don't know how to count your days. And something else also was just cramps. You have the pain, but you really don't know how and why it happens. So that is something that really was awful. And right now, we are gurus of the MHM, so we can actually explain even better to the girls how it happens and why we have the pain. Yeah.
Perhaps I can share just a little bit about the pain. As we were taught that if you have period pain, it's normal, it's natural, and you're supposed to go through it and take it as a woman, nafaa kuvumilia hiyo uchungu. And what I have learned now in my age is that not all period pain is normal. You don't have to vumilia, because in high school, people used to have like terrible pains. They would not even be able to catch any class or do anything, and they would still, bear the pain. So I think I share that of you really, really don't have to go through that pain. You can easily take meds or go and see a doctor and then get prescribed meds, and then that pain can go away.
Yeah, sure. And also the exercises. They can do the exercises just to relieve the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are pretty much period myths, and actually that is what I wanted to talk about. For me, it's period education. There's so much I did not understand about what a period is. For example, what is an abnormal period? Because once you understand what an abnormal period is, it is easy for you to know when your body is experiencing a normal period. And it also empowers you with knowledge on how to be aware of the telltale signs when excuse me, something is amiss, right? So for example, with ladies, I was speaking to Nancy earlier. She was telling me she knows of a lady as young as 15 years who has fibroids. So for such a lady, I would even want to sit down with her and ask her questions such as, did you know this was abnormal? At what point did you know? Did you have to go to the doctor to be told it's abnormal? Because understanding what an abnormal period is very empowering for any young girl. That helps them to be able to make informative decisions and take a step, whether it's going to see a gynecologist, and to be able to salvage the situation in the case that they could be having a condition such as fibroids, right? So for me, I wish I knew more about period. So basically period education. Yeah, because it would have really empowered me even as in my own journey, even as a grown woman, because I have lived with fibroids before, to know at what point, was I supposed to go see the doctor? At what point was this not okay? Instead of sitting there and the condition becomes worse, thinking this is normal for, like just what you've said, period pain is not normal.
Period pain is not normal.
Having clots coming out of your body is not normal. And, there are people who tell you certain clots are normal, certain are not. I mean, if a clot is bigger than a millimeter, that's not normal. That should tell you maybe you have endometriosis or fibroids. So there, and of course the quantity of the period. How long is your period? A period should last at least 2 to 7 days. After 7 days, something could be amiss. It could be you have symptomatic fibroids. It could be you maybe have endometriosis. It could be with PCOS. It works either way. Your period could disappear completely. Actually, not even having a period is not normal. You understand? That could tell you that you have PCOS, for example. So those are some of the things that I wish I was told. I wish when I was given a pad for the first time, I was also told this is what an abnormal period feels and looks like.
Yeah, and just to explore that a little bit further, there's some gems that you just dropped. In our conversation yesterday, one thing that we talked about was when we were in primary school, just when you've mentioned that when you were given a pad for the first time, no one gave you like the information around periods. So what came up yesterday was that when we started having our periods, we were separated from the boys. And then we were told you'll have your periods monthly for like 4 or 5 days. And we're just given that very shallow information about that. And we collectively agreed that that was the beginning of period stigma, because the separation from the boys, and the boys are like,
why? What's the big deal?
And then even you yourself as a girl, you're like, what makes me so different that you have to pull me away?
And that's why even in schools, when a girl slings her pants in a mixed class,
the boys start
laughing and they even run away and they brand her, weird or something. And that's actually a problem, because I have a son, he's almost 3, but when he comes and finds a pad on top of my counter in the bedroom, of course, it doesn't have to be open. It could just be a pad, packed. But why do I need to shun and go hide it? It starts from that age. He needs to know that this is a pad. And even, sometimes as moms, we feel like he'll go tell others and embarrass me. But it's not an embarrassment, because every woman gets a period. So he needs, at his age, he might not understand what a pad is for, but it's okay if he asks me, Mommy, what is this? I'll tell him it's a pad, full stop. I do not have to explain further until he's older. But that's the thing. It starts even at home. With why are we hiding these things from our children? Both the boy and the girl child.
And also that's why we want to engage the boys.
Yes.
When we are doing the MHM education in schools, it's very important to have the boys in the conversation so that they understand, so that they don't bully these girls.
Yes.
Because once they start bullying these girls, that's now when the stigma comes in, and then they shy off. And you find the girl is just like, I can't be next to so and so because they will know that I have my period. So it is something that we really need to
work on.
Yeah.
And it also starts with us parents, as I've said, from home, and even with dads, buy your wife's pads,
Buy your
as
daughter's
your brother
pads.
And the daughters.
buy your sister pads. I would want to see more men in supermarkets and in malls shopping pads. I'd be very proud to even say hi. That's good. I'd even go a step further and say, we're so proud of you, because that's how we empower men to support us as women when it comes to matters periods. Yeah, sure.
So at least in this conversation, we've said that period stigma is learned. We learn this from like a young age.
Yes.
It's
We carry
introduced
it,
at home, first of all,
and it's
and then
school.
we move to school,
And then the community,
of course,
Yes.
community as large.
And then it becomes internalized such
Yes.
that some women actually feel dirty when they're on their periods, and they feel like it's something shameful, it's something to hide away from. And as women, apart from maybe teaching from a young age, what can we do now? Because some women still have internalized shame, or some girls still have internalized shame, to break that shame that we have.
Okay. In my opinion, and also as a MHM expert, I would look at it in 4 ways. And starting with one, education.
Yeah.
Education, and you want to include these girls and the boys to ensure that they access this education at an early age, so that they are informed and they can make informed decision. There's also dignity and equality. Just to ensure that each and every girl and woman is able to control and manage her menses. Not like they don't have the information, but they can manage it very well with dignity. Then we also have the economic empowerment. When we access, or when we address this period poverty, we actually empower these girls. And then you will find that some of the women are interested even to start making the reusable sanitary towels, and they sell it. So it's kind of empowering them, but also you're looking the aspect of economy. And also we look at the health. Look at the physical health and also the mental. Because when you talk about the physical health, if a girl does not know how to manage, how to actually carry herself, and looking at the cleanliness and how I can bath in the morning and, and just be clean when I'm in my period, of course, they might have the infections, which might affect their physical life. Then we have the mental. That is now where we have the shame, the stigma, and all that, and mental health. You find now these girls are like, they don't know what to do. They don't want to go to school. Why? People are laughing at them. Oh, somebody knows that I'm in my period. So for me, I think those are some of the things that we can focus on, and just to see how we can help these girls and boys, and also the parents and the teachers. Yeah.
So for me, I'd say that if today you find somebody on the streets, a beggar, asking you for money, and you want to convert that beggar to be somebody who can help you run an errand, what is the first way to be able to approach them or to get them to listen to you? Is provide bread for them.
Yes.
Because you cannot talk to them from an empty stomach. That is the truth. It's the same thing. Period poverty for me means having a lack of information, having a lack of knowledge, having lack of wisdom. You don't know what to do. So the first thing is to make available, first of all, what you cannot afford, number one, or for the people living in the marginalized areas. So make it available for them. And then we can have this conversation on period education.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can go to these marginalized areas with education and you're not providing the tools they need to support their period hygiene. And then how are they supposed to understand, and how are they supposed to listen to you? So for me, for the first way to empower any person going through any form of poverty is to provide that need first, and then to be able to articulate the information or the knowledge that you want to share with them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, moving on to period poverty, we know that 1 in 10 girls miss school in Kenya because they don't have access to pads or any other menstrual hygiene products that they use. So I know you've mentioned first, try to solve their most
Their need.
immediate needs
Yeah,
first.
they need.
Yeah,
What they
especially
don't have,
yes, especially in marginalized communities. But speaking to, let's say, let's have like an African lens. How can we address what innovative ways can, let's say, the government of Kenya or maybe governments in Africa use to address period poverty? That do you have or do you know of?
First of all, we can probably pass laws. That is the first thing. Where we have, for example, every girl of school going age should be able to access at least a pack of pads, which is, I don't know, 8 pieces, at least 8 pieces of pads every month from school. And these are things that the government can provide, right? And then, of course, we have sanitation and hygiene. What is the government can come in with systems where they provide, whether it's these disposable bins for pads and all that, And then, of course, empowering initiatives and institutions that provide period education to go and reach out to these girls, in both marginalized and even in town areas like where we are right now. Of course, initiatives like what Nancy's doing to go and, provide this information to these young ladies. For me, I think that's the first thing the government should be able to come in and do. And I would like to give the example of the MP who soiled her pants.
Gloria.
Robert. It became, that already tells you firsthand how the government feels about periods. Because you're having MPs sit in one room, shunning away a woman who has soiled her pants. What does that speak? That speaks volume. Because when we think of our government, we think of the parliament. So that is the face of our government. So if the government itself is shunning away a grown woman who soiled her pants, then what does that tell us about support? Even before they start providing these pads, what does that tell us about the mindset of the government?
The attitude of the government towards.
So there needs, first of all, to be a change in the way they think. And it's, unfortunately, I'm sorry to raise this, but it is more of like a cultural problem.
It's a cultural problem,
in Africa, where men feel like women's issues to do with periods should be put aside, should be shunned. We have to change our mindset. We have to renew our minds, the way we think about periods as a continent, and then as governments, and then as individuals, and as sexes, that is men and women. Nancy,
I think before Nancy answers, I have a follow-up question for you. You've mentioned putting laws, but how do we translate laws into action? Because we know
setting laws,
they're very quick in setting laws. We want to do this, want to do this, want to do this. Like, for example, the 2/3 gender rule, they never implemented it, but it's passed as law. How can we ensure that whatever is passed as law, let's say, for example, we say free pads should be given to all school-going girls, for example, as a start, then they don't achieve that. It becomes tuliongea ikaishia hapo. So how can how can us as women, since it's our prerogative, it's a prerogative, how can we sort of push government, or how can we lobby, or how can we advocate for ourselves to government to ensure that these laws that they pass are not just kuongea tu, that they are implemented?
Okay, so for me, I'd say for starters is have what are they called? There are these things they set up, like the forums, where they can even come back with a report. I don't know what I've seen maybe it. Nancy can take us through.
Nancy.
I think there's a lot to be done. And I know the government has really made some steps. I'm not actually denying that. They have done much, but we are not out of the hook yet. And there's a lot to be done because there is this MHM policy, which was just launched in the year 2019, just recently. And the implementation bit of it, it has not been disseminated. Because I went to some of the schools just to ask if the teachers are aware of MHM policy.
What's the MHM policy info?
Menstrual Health Management Policy. It was just launched in the year 2019. Then there's also National School Health Policy, which actually it has been there for I think, so many years, but the implementation. So for me, I think one, we should also look at the way how we can disseminate these documents, because they are good documents, and like the MHM policy has like 5 key objectives, which are really very important. One is focusing on legal, both at the national and at the county. And another objective is focusing on the access to the product, the service, and also the wash. Then another objective is looking at the M&E, how we can collect the data, the research. Another one is looking at the waste management. And all these, if we really focus on and we really implement them, for me, I think we'll be very far away and towards actually this addressing the poverty, period poverty. So it is something that the government should do, but also supporting the startup. Because we want to go to the community. We want to go to this school.
And I feel like our hands are longer. If I can say it like that. Because for us, we are sitting with girls who are experiencing these things firsthand.
Yes.
We are dealing with women who are experiencing these things firsthand. So if you fund me or you provide, support to such an initiative I have or what Nancy has, then that's it. We are set.
We'll go far.
We'll go very far because our hands are longer than even the government, you know?
Yes. So I think that is very important, because at times you go to school and you find that, okay, you need to go to many schools, and it is not just the confidence queen alone. If we come together as a movement, to do this work, I think we can do a lot, because we are at the grassroots. We talk to the girls every day, and they share a lot, because one, we don't judge, and that is what the girls are looking for. Non-judgmental space where they can talk without judgment.
Thank you, ladies. As we begin to wrap up, our time is almost done. Maybe you can quickly share any digital ways that we can use to mainstream menstrual hygiene management education in our communities.
Of course, digital, you think of social media. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I think from our lives to content, development, where we share content, we curate specific content that can be understood by different girls coming in. Most of our teenagers, most of our young ladies are on social media right now. So if we can curate content and, disseminate it in a way where they can be reached and understand it in a fun and wacky way, again, not too serious, because young ladies like to have a good time, and that's the best way that's the best and fastest way actually to reach them is through digital communication, or rather social media.
Another thing that we can do, there are apps, web app. Like the Confidence Queen is coming up with a web app that they will be able to access the information for free. That is the menstrual health, FGM, cervical cancer, and also the family planning. So the apps are there. UNICEF also has done a tremendous job. They have an app called Oki. So it's to help the girls track their...
I can also talk about flow. The flow is very good as well. It helps you, be able to know when your period, mark your period dates, when to know when you're ovulating, when you're not ovulating. It's a really good app to keep you in check, and also to help you know when things are not okay, in terms of what does the color of your period look like and all that stuff. So it's really empowering. So basically, social media, or rather these apps, are very great with sharing knowledge that can empower girls to make informed decisions, because it goes even beyond periods. It goes to conversations like, what is an abnormal period, so that when even these girls are unwell, they know when it's time for me to go and see a gynecologist, So it is even beyond just period conversations and period hygiene.
Thank you so much, ladies. We've come to the end of our recording. Thank you so much. I feel like I've learned a lot from you, and I learn a lot from you anytime that we engage. And I would want to further, engage with you, since I feel like you have more information from our government and policy-making point of view, which is very critical, because our government is one that programs for us as a country. But to our listeners, I hope that you've learned something from our technical experts in the room, and that you'll be able to share some of this information with also girls in your communities. So to further engage with us in this conversation, please share in the chat about any innovative solutions towards ending period poverty and period shame that you have seen in your community that are being implemented. Asanteni sana.
Chini ya mbuyu.